Welcome back to What the Flick. I'm Matt Atchity, that's Alonso Duralde. The Kaiju returned to theaters this weekend in Pacific Rim Uprising. We thought it'd be a good time to talk about some of our favorite Kaiju of all time.
Absolutely.
First appearance really of the Kaiju as we know it, as we now call it, is Godzilla in 1954. Although we had seen giant monsters in movies before. I remember, I always think of Beast
from 20,000
Fathoms, partly because when I was a tour guide at Universal for a while, and there was a scene from that movie that was used in one of the little sets, like one of the little stages.
Like the tentacle on the bridge?
No, it was like the foot coming down and stepping on a car.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so as a bit of special effects, so there's always a soft spot in my heart for that movie. But.
Yeah, no, I grew up watching these on TV, and even, I was young enough to still see like, well, it's funny, in the mid-70s they released Godzilla versus the Bionic Monster, and then they got sued by the $6 Million Man people.
No.
They had to retitle it Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. But I saw that, I got to see that on the big screen. Yeah, no, I love Kaiju, and in fact, what's cool now is that Criterion has not done any physical releases yet, but they have remastered a lot of the, like everything from Gojira through 1975's Terror of Mecha Godzilla. And it was and might still be streaming on Filmstruck. I think it's also streaming on the Starz streaming service. So that's more my jam, that era. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different eras of kaiju films that have come out from Toho over the years, but for me, like Destroy All Monsters in 1968, that's as good as it gets. That's all the monsters on Monster Island, and the aliens are manipulating them to attack humanity, and they have to fight back, and it's pretty much all of the Toho players. You got your Godzillas and your Mothras and your Rodans and. So yeah, those are a lot of fun. But did you see Shin Godzilla a couple years ago?
I didn't, no.
I liked that one quite a bit too.
No, I remember seeing the Emmerich Godzilla. Yeah.
Let us not speak of that. I'm hoping that I didn't love the first of the new Godzilla so much either.
Okay.
But I'm hoping now the Kong Godzilla crossover will be more exciting.
I hope so. Yeah, we forget about the original Godzilla, the 1954 movie.
Yeah.
Like that movie's a decade after the atomic bombs have been dropped in Japan, and
he's a metaphor.
And he's a metaphor, and pun intended, heavy-handed metaphor, but still, it's a fascinating exercise to watch that movie and watch that through the lens of this nation just got bombed with the most destructive thing anyone ever seen on the planet at that point. And you've got some people artistically processing what that feels like.
Yeah. And that one actually was put out by Criterion. And I would recommend, if you're interested in this stuff at all, watch the Japanese Gojira and then watch the American Godzilla, which is basically that movie with some re-edits and Raymond Burr inserted to sort of explain things, and like read the notes, and because the scholars have sort of talked about the difference between the Americanized version of that and sort of soft pedaling that whole sort of A-bomb metaphor that the original Japanese version is very much trafficking.
Yeah, it really is. I find that movie to be more moving than I would have expected going back into it. She's like, oh, Godzilla. It's just, and then you grow up seeing those movies like the Saturday, on TV on Saturday, like Destroy All Monsters, and you see Rodan, or is it Rodan or King Ghidorah that makes the appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Oh, with the three, I think it's King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
It becomes this joke of like Cardboard Tokyo gets stomped on by a guy in a zipper back monster suit, but there's a lot more going on in these movies.
Yeah.
And even like we were just talking about Gamera movies, the Flying Turtle from the other studio, the Toei. There was the competition for Godzilla. Never quite got the respect he was due, and if you've seen them all in Mystery Science Theater, it becomes maybe more difficult to take those seriously. But then there were some really cool '90s remakes of the Gamera movies that they did in Japan that are solid. They hold up, I think.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of Godzilla movies that came out. I think it was like 15, 20 years ago. There's a few of those that came out.
Yeah, it's like the Millennium series.
Yeah,
those are Whitney Seibold knows these by heart.
Right, exactly. Where's Whitney when we need him? I kind of liked the more recent Godzilla in San Francisco. I thought that was pretty solid.
I had issues.
Okay.
No, my recollection for that movie is that they really make you wait for Godzilla, which I know that's what they did in the old movies. But in this one, while we were waiting, I didn't care about any of the characters. I was not interested in Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. And frankly, once you kill off Juliette Binoche in the first 5 minutes, I'm much less interested. But yeah, I'm trying to pull up there's the Showa, the Heisei, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing all these, the Millennium, and then now Shin Godzilla sort of represents a new chapter of the cycle of these films.
Okay.
But there are interesting ones throughout. I mean, I lean towards the original ones just because those are the ones I grew up on. But you can find, Go check out your internet, people. There are folks who are way more immersed in these series than we are, and they can tell you which are the ones to see, which are the ones to avoid, and a lot of them are available streaming, I think.
Favorite secondary monster?
Probably Mothra, because he comes with the twins. She, you're right. Sorry, she.
Come on.
She comes with the Aililuyeva or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that's the giant moth. Like that's. I like King Caesar.
Explain.
King Caesar. This is King Caesar.
Okay.
Yeah, King Caesar.
Show the camera.
Yeah.
Well, we'll cut it in.
King Caesar's a weirdo. He kind of looks like half dog, half lion. It's very obvious. I mean, look, they're all guys in suits, but this one really, it's like that's some weird cosplay, dude. But I like the way that Kaiju showed up in to take it back to the movie that's opening this week. I loved the first Pacific Rim. I loved that movie. Like, that movie is damn near perfect, right? It's so good.
Really?
Oh, come on! It's giant robots, giant monsters.
No, look, on paper, I'm for all those things. I'm pro those things, and then I was kind of left cold by that movie. But
oh no!
It might have just been, ironically, I saw it on the Warner Brothers lot, and it still looked like crap. So maybe if I'd seen it somewhere better, that had a better 3D system set up, it would have gone totally differently.
Yeah, look, this is not Guillermo del Toro doing the new one. It's a different director, and what's his name? Who was?
It's John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega plays the son of Idris Elba.
Right.
And you know what? I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking again, like giant robots, giant monsters.
I want to like this. I hope they'll bring me in. I want to give a quick plug real quick. A friend of mine, Steve Reifel, co-wrote with Ed Godzuzuski a film called Ishiro Honda, a life in film from Godzilla to Kurosawa, all about the guy who directed the original set of Godzilla movies and then went and worked on Akira Kurosawa crew for the rest of his career. Fascinating book, fascinating life. If you are into this stuff, you should check it out.
Do you remember the Godzilla cartoon from Hanna-Barbera?
Yes.
On Saturday mornings with Godzuki.
I try not to.
The little like.
Yeah. I like the Marvel Comics Godzilla in the 70s.
Oh yeah, that was a solid one.
Kind of, especially when like the Champions would show up or whatever.
Right.